Hey guys, it's Sandra from INQUIRIES. Now in my previous video, I shared about our infertility struggles and our miracle baby story. So be sure to watch that video because if you haven't, then you may not really understand about this video. In this video, I'm actually going to share about what it's really like to have a baby. And well, here's the context. We've been trying to have a baby for 7 years, and so anyone would think, wow, you finally got pregnant and you would be so happy having a baby. Everything is awesome and there is pure joy and fun and laughter and everything is wonderful. Not. So in this video, I just wanted to share all the stuff that no one tells you about what it's like having a baby. And especially in this age where everyone's sharing all the good sides of things on social media. So you might be seeing cafe photos with the baby, happy celebrations, milestone cards, and those posts of, oh, my baby doing cute things or looking really cute and your friends' babies, and you think, oh, it's awesome having a baby. Okay, so I just wanted to make sure while I do enjoy those aspects and I have my fair share of fun and laughter and joy indescribable with a baby, I also feel like we need to know about the realistic expectations of what it's really like having a baby. It's hard. It's very, very hard. So I'm actually gonna just put it into 6 different points here about what it's really like. So let's jump right in. Disclaimer though, everybody has different experiences. So I know of friends who seem to be like sailing through motherhood and everyone seems to love every aspect of it and there are no complaints and it's the best season of their lives. For me, it is a struggle, and I wanted to just share what I've gone through and the struggles that I have faced, am facing as we speak, and see if that might be enlightening to you and perhaps even be a source of encouragement to you if you've been trying to get pregnant, haven't been pregnant, and you know that you are spared from all these things that I'm going through. So here we go. Number 1, be ready for no routine. The thing about a baby is that they change a lot. They change very frequently. So when it comes to sort of even just the amount they feed, the amount of milk they drink, how often they drink, that changes rapidly from month to month at the very beginning. So my baby is 4.5 months old and already there's been so many kinds of changes. So no routine is the new routine. So I think it's fair to say that in general, humans are creatures of habit. So when you take routine out of anyone, there is some level of distress. Okay, so for me, I really struggled with it. Like I felt like I couldn't anticipate what to expect every moment of the day, and it was very, very tough. So for me, I really struggled with it, and I wish someone told me that yeah, you're not going to have any routine for a while and it's going to be hard. So you might want to just brace yourself for that. Number 2, be ready for sleep interruptions. So I think this goes without saying, like, how the baby needs to wake up in the middle of the night a few times to drink milk. And at first I would think, okay, perhaps after doing that a few nights, I might get used to it. Well, you know what? Yes, you do get used to it to a certain extent. Sometimes you even wake up on your own before your baby wakes up. That's the amazing thing that God gives, I guess, moms especially if you're breastfeeding. There's this like connection between you and your baby, and sometimes that happens. And so that's happened to me a few times and it was really cool. Like I woke up just in time to go to the toilet and have enough time before my baby wakes up. But then, even though you might have done it for a few times, it's hard. It's so hard. Like I think we're so used to so many years of sleeping through the night, and for whatever reason that you have to wake up in the middle of the night and just interrupting that long stretch of restorative sleep, it's always going to be difficult. So I will say that it's sometimes easier than others depending on which REM cycle your baby wakes you up in. I personally really struggle whenever it's sort of like within the first 2 hours of my sleep. So if I go to sleep at 11 p.m. and my baby wakes me up at 12 something or 1 a.m. in the morning, I typically do wake up and feed the baby, almost falling asleep with the bottle on his mouth, because I am that tired. It's incredibly difficult, and in fact the word that I have is brutal. It's so difficult. So just bear that in mind, and if you feel like maybe you won't struggle with it as much as I do, well, I just wanted to let you know that I really struggle with it. It's very brutal. But then sometimes when my baby wakes up a bit later, say like 5 in the morning, and I've had like maybe 4 hours of good sleep, it's not so bad. Like, I do wake up tired, and the first few minutes really are so difficult. Like, I can't even open my eyes properly. At least I don't feel terrible, but I'll tell you, it's still brutal, and it's been 4.5 months of me waking up in the middle of the night to feed the baby, and I'll say it is still hard. So yes, be ready for no routine, be ready for sleep interruptions. They don't seem to get easier, in my opinion. Number 3, be ready for insomnia from the sleep interruptions. I don't know about you, but when I wake up to feed my baby at, say, around 5 or 6 in the morning, and typically I wake up much later, I would like to wake up at about 7-ish, 8-ish, sometimes even 9-ish if I can afford to sleep in. Believe it or not, at 5-ish, my brain just kind of wakes up already. And every time you feed your baby, sometimes on a good cycle, it takes 30 minutes because you still need to change the nappy of the baby, burp the baby, and settle the baby to sleep. So all that takes time. And by the time you have done things like that for 30 minutes or sometimes 45 minutes, sometimes even an hour, and okay, great, so it's 6 in the morning, right? No, you don't just fall back to sleep. I mean, maybe you can. I can't. So then when I try to go back to sleep because I'm like, okay, great, here's like 2 more hours I can sleep. No, it might not happen. Sometimes I find my brain is already awake. I am going through the 10 things I want to do in the day, and it just means no more sleep. So yes, that's happened before. It's insomnia from sleep interruptions. Don't mind me, I caught a bit of a flu from the baby, so yes, there's a bit of flu symptoms going on as I record this video. So yes, insomnia from sleep interruptions can happen as well. Number 4, maternal hormones. The maternal hormones that you have might cause feelings of distress from a baby's cries. I don't know about whether it's the same for dads when they hear the babies cry, or grandparents or aunts, uncles, other kinds of relations to a baby. But when I hear my baby cry, there is a lot of stress that comes into my body. Like, think of it as, it's almost like stress from work, or stress from your boss wanting you to finish a job urgently, or stress, just stress in general, like just all that cortisol your body produces. It's amazing. And I know this has to be God's design, because clearly God has to design the baby to have his or her needs met, because they can't do anything for themselves at that age. So the moms or dads have to do it for them, or the caretakers. Well, when I hear my baby cry, there's just so much stress that comes into my body that I actually feel like, wow, it's stressful, and I want to do everything I can to help my baby to stop the crying. So yes, like, no one actually talks about how it's very stressful to hear the baby cry, or distressing, perhaps another way to put it. So I just wanted to make sure, hey, guys, it's stressful hearing the baby. Maybe as a mom, the hormones kick in, and it's extra just unpleasant to hear the baby. So, like, especially putting mixing in the points that I talked about earlier, you know, how it's like you're disrupted in your sleep. So if at 1 a.m. in the morning you're sleeping nicely and you hear the baby cry, so you go from a state of sleeping and being nice and restored and peaceful and it's all quiet to hearing the baby cry and feeling super stressed suddenly. So the stress levels just go from like 0 to 100. I mean, I felt that. So that's my experience. And I wanted to just share with you guys. So feelings of distress, great distress. And yes, I don't know how I do it. I just try to quickly solve the problem by helping my baby. And I think it's probably God's design. Number 5, there might be contradictions based on what you read on baby articles and what you learn from people and what really works for your baby. So at this day and age, you know, information age, and we're all like academic people. So I spent like lots of time, fair share of time, just plowing through things like Baby Center and reading articles and Googling, oh, what do I do when my baby does this? Or how do I get my baby to do that? Just lots of questions because there's so much learning on the go. But there is also a lot of contradiction that you might face. So what the article says might work might not work for your baby. And it just takes a lot of flexibility on the part of the parent. So just, you know what, take time to find out what works. And you might need to do trial and error, and what people say might work for your baby, especially what the older generation, like maybe your parent or your grandparent, tells you about babies. It might work because they are so experienced, but it might not work because this baby is different from their babies. So I just wanted to I want you to go into parenthood with a lot of flexibility. So put that in with point number 1, no routine, which is already hard, and this point, which is you gotta be so flexible because there might be contradictions. So yeah, this is what I've experienced in bringing up my own baby so far. So to bring the point across, I wanted to share about how I actually spent quite a bit of money on a sleep program for my baby. And in that sleep program, I tried something on the baby from the sleep program which worked beautifully. So I was like, yes, the sleep program is awesome. Everything about it has to be accurate. And then they recommended this particular track. And in this track, which is where you play it to the baby, they recommend that the baby will sleep soundly or nap soundly. But the track happens to make a sound that, believe it or not, makes everyone else in the house go crazy because it's not a very pleasant sound, and everyone else tells me, stop that track, it's making me go nuts. And this is something I didn't expect, right? Like I was just thinking, do whatever it works to make or help the baby sleep. But then I didn't expect that everyone else, like the adults, to tell me turn it off. So whether or not it works on the baby, I don't know because I didn't have a chance to try it, but it could be that something like this can cause distress to everyone else. And so yes, it's just funny, like, okay, so in the end I can't use everything from that sleep program because some things just work, some things just don't, in a very ironic way. So there we go. Those are the things that I currently have compiled. I think it might be a longer list about what it's really like having a baby, or things that no one tells you about having a baby. And perhaps I would like to add one more point, which would be that you gotta get ready for a lot of sacrifice. Just, you have no time, very little time for yourself. Sometimes when you finally put the baby to sleep and you have that few minutes before the baby wakes up, because the baby might wake up any time, it's like you dash to the toilet because that's the only time you can pee. And that's how busy you get. So I find myself thinking sometimes, oh, I miss the good old days when I didn't have a baby, because then I could do anything I want most of the time. And yes, I cannot believe I had thoughts like that, because if you watched my previous video, it took us so long for God to give us the miracle of a baby. And while I am amazed at this miracle of a baby, and every day I just look at my baby going, God is a miraculous God, and we've waited so long for this baby, it is still very, very difficult to just put aside your own needs for the baby. So I guess in one sentence, I'm just going to say it's hard. Parenting is hard. And guys, believe it or not, most of you who watch this may not even have help in the house. Like, you are the only one caring for your baby. Maybe you're a single parent. Hats off to you. Maybe you and your spouse care for the baby. You know, we have, I have my spouse and a parent help out. So there are actually 3 adults caring for this baby. And yet I feel the struggles, and I have come up with 6 points in this video. So it's that hard. Like, I am struggling with having a baby, and I just wanted to share this with the world, especially to encourage those of you who might feel like, I am not getting pregnant. Well, rejoice in the fact that you are spared from these struggles. And if you are a parent and you have, you know, hacks or tips to share with me pertaining to the points I talked about, or if perhaps you have any thoughts about this video, or maybe you have any more things you want to find out about, like what it's like having a baby, or more questions, be sure to leave them in the comments below, and I would love to see what you feel about such a video like this, where I deviate from the worship keys and share quite a bit more about our personal lives. So guys, thanks so much for watching this video. If the content helped you, be sure to like it and also subscribe to the channel. Also, if you want to get better in your worship keys playing, be sure to check out the Inspired Keys Academy, because you get to access the 31 Days to Better Worship Keyboard Playing ebook. You get your worship keys questions answered with priority, and also you get to access all the worship keys courses that I have created. So if you really want to find out more about the Inspired Keys Academy so that you can get better at worship keys without taking all that extra time finding things yourself, learning things by yourself, be sure to check out the Inspired Keys Academy on inspiredkeys.com/join, and I look forward to helping you take you to your next level from there. So thanks so much for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next one. God bless!